Hi and welcome back to MDriven. In this session I'm going to talk about the new debugger and also the Autoforms that we have updated slightly. Since we released the Autoforms and the new debugger, we have had some feedback that we have attended to, and we're going to show how that looks now. So given you have a model like this and you start it and you do the prototyper, because that's where the Autoforms are. So what changed in the Autoforms is that before this action was called create customer and it just landed as an empty row here, but now it's called new customer, and when you click it you get directly into the customer window with the save state set, and you can enter the company name ABC and some email address here, a.at.a.se maybe, and A and B. If I try to save this, it will probably complain because this one is not unique. Got an exception of screen here from my Visual Studio, so I'm gonna just say don't break on that. And it says here that well, you can't see it, it's off screen. Well, the row grid is not unique, and of course I could just find a grid that would be unique like that and save that. And I click away the error, and the error says violation of unique constraint, Yes, that was the old error that I saw. Okay, and also this action has been renamed. Now it's new address, and the same thing is true for this. When I click it, before it was named something called create address, and it was just a line appearing here, but now the line will appear, but you will also navigate to the new form like that. We might cancel that. And if I held Control while pressing this action, I get new tabs like this. So that's a small new thing with the Autoforms that we had some feedback on, and hopefully it will make it easier easier to use these. The other thing that we have had on the agenda for quite some time is the new debugger, and while using it, I have come to the conclusion that it's really would be great if it could have the same context as what I'm prototyping. So we added a new button here that just say debugger, and then you come into the debugger with exact same context as you have in the prototype application. And in the new debugger you can do things as customer select 50. It won't select 50 for you, but it will produce the OCL statement to select the 50, and then you execute that and you have the 50. So that's pretty cool. And in the new debugger you can do things like selecting a few things and push them into memory 1, 2 or 3. These are just a convenient way to get something into a variable. So these that I've selected now end up in M1. That's a collection of customer that has 4 items. So this means that I could just as well have written M1, and that's an OCL statement, and execute that, and I have those 4. Of course I can do something to M3 and then I have a new variable called m3. So since these are expressions, I can do things like I can edit them just like expressions and say first, or maybe I can do follow an association of customers to their sales order headers, maybe like that, and execute that, and then I would get the sales order headers for that, which happened to be empty. But if I instead had found a customer that actually had some sales orders by going the other way, so this is a sales order, and I will find its customer and that customer. Now I have a customer here and I want to use it here, and I can simply grab the green dot here because that's the root object and that's the customer. So I can grab that and just drop it here. What I got then was a new variable called dragged. So, and it has one item. So if I were to go on dragged and execute that, I don't have to write OCL if it is OCL. It's only if it deviates from OCL, like action or OCL PS for persistent storage. So in the dragged variable, I currently have this customer, and I can from this one then I would be able to follow the association to sales order headers and execute that, and now I have a sales order header here. I can see that in the variable called vResult. It's a sales order header collection with one. So the list showing here is actually the same as in the vResult element variable. So having things here, I can do the other way around. I can drag them over here and get the Autoform for that. So that's pretty cool. I can go from here to here and have a drag there. I can take these two sales order details and drag them over here, and I get a collection of sales order detail, 2 items, like this. Okay, I'm back after a short interruption. I found a problem with composite keys. When you have a reverse database that has composite keys, we didn't correctly handle the string representation of that key. But that problem should be fixed now. So if I grab these 2 sales order details and drag them over here, I get a collection of 2 items, sales order detail items, that I can check here. And this was the problem. Now we call them composite ID and both their numbers. And so other things that are good with the new debugger is that you can fold out any view model definition from a root. You have the objects in the result list from this list here, and you have all the available view models that match that type. Autoform sales order detail in this case. And then I get the view model expanded for me. I can see the data, and I can also see the definition by clicking the OCL button, and I get that in the clipbook, so I can OK that and paste it in the debugger if I would like to do something with it, like if I would like to change it or do anything like that. Let's try that then. If I would like to change this, I know that I have this value in the vdrag, but that might not always be the case, so I'm gonna select this into M1. Now M1 is a collection of 1, and that's fine. I'm gonna switch to this so I see it, the modified date. And if I then go M1 first, modified date, execute, I have the modified date there. But that was not what I wanted to do. I wanted to go back to this one and go back to the first one and the sales order detail. And this modified date here. To actually change it, I would need an action language instead of OCL, since OCL is not allowed to have side effects. So what I can do is, if my keyboard would like to be the correct language, I could use the assign operator and get the time dot now and execute that. Okay, and then it returned the result that was side effect, which I hadn't really anticipated. But if I grab this one once more, I can see that the modified date is changed. I can also see that the save button is highlighted, and also this save button. And if I cancel this or undo this, this one jumps back and the save button is deactivated, and also the save button in the prototyper, since they share the same context. And another view using the view models is actually the rendered view model, so I could watch it here, and that would be another way to set the date to something like not very long time ago, instead in the future, like that. And of course if I undo it, it jumps back. Also, when dealing with the view model rendered like this, you might want to grab the variables from within the view model, and you can just press this clone VM variables, and you will have the variables as they were designed in here, and you can watch their value. The vcurrent Autoform sales order detail will of course be the one that is the root of. So if I execute that one, I see that that's the root of the view model. And this is actually pretty cool because we get access to the self VM, and the self VM has operators like rest, at least if you switch to the action language. like REST GET and REST POST. And having that, you can always find the latest documentation on the wiki for these operators. And that jumps up here over at the other screen apparently. Let's see if I can get it. And this one just said, please see OCL operator REST POST, and on REST POST it's described things, and you can also read about it and watch this video. So that's good to know that you always have access to current documentation that way. While I'm on the subject, I need to also mention this from the view models. If you have server-side view models, you can get access to the we don't have any server-side view models here, but if you do, you will remember that there are certain criteria and OCL expressions to get access to the data that they will execute on, and these buttons help you to get those expressions into the debugger so that you may debug server-side view models much easier than what was possible before. So I think I'm gonna leave you there, and what we have discussed now is the debugger integration with the prototyper. And please come back with feedback on usage. If you think something is strange, we will either explain it or fix it. Thank you very much.